Today I'm going to be installing a new double DIN unit. I got the cheapest one I could find. It supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, an install kit, and a wiring harness adapter. Now, most videos I've seen, you have to literally drop the steering column, you have to remove the shifter. Today I'm going to do that without having to do those things. Now, for another job, I've already removed 2 of the panels, but they're pretty straightforward. Come under here, there's a bolt here, it's a 10mm, and a bolt here. And then on the other side, same idea. One 10mm bolt here, one here, and then everything else just clips and it should pull right out. From there, you have 2 more 10mm bolts in here. Now you can just start pulling. Might help to use a trim removal tool. Now you'll have a couple wiring harnesses to remove. This one has the passenger airbag on-off switch, and it has 2 cigarette lighters. If you're struggling with that, you can just pop it right out. Unplug it from here. Now this one looks like it has a safety clip on it, which we'll need to pull out a little bit. There we go. Once you've done that, come to your steering wheel, lower it all the way. Now, I think some vans may not come with this feature, and if it doesn't, I can't promise this method will work. Put it into accessory mode, shift all the way to the lowest point, continue to pull on your dash until it's mostly free back here, and I think I might have broken mine, but I'm not concerned. However, if you are, be very careful on this section to pull it up and over to free it, and from there the whole dash is free. Now, there might be a couple more wires. I think this one's a trailer brake, or a tow mode, I should say. And if you come over to this side, you'll have all your lights. And there should be switches in there for that. Now from here, just very carefully work your dash out. Be very careful, especially if you're worried about breaking anything. I did break this, however, the time it saved, I'm not terribly concerned. Maybe I'll throw a piece of black tape on that or something. But that also assisted in getting it out very quickly. These are probably standard bolts, but I'm using a 7mm. Unclip your radio, your antenna. There you have your old unit. I'm going to focus on the harness first before installing the actual stereo. This is the adapter I got. You see it just plugs right into the OEM harness. And then this is what came with the actual stereo. So we'll integrate the two. Came with a bunch of butt connectors. One thing to note, do your own research on which kit you need. I actually struggled pretty hard finding one for this. Seems like most of the kits online, at least the cheap ones, are for what is it, like 99 to 02 vans. This is an 07, and this one was particularly hard to find. I'm not sure why, but this is kind of what I came across, at least for a cheap one. Now doing this, you run the risk of losing your door chimes because those run through the speakers. Well, actually, you will lose your door chimes. There are kits. I think Scosh makes one. I think there's a few others that actually have a door chime unit that is integrated with this harness. I personally don't mind, so I was fine with losing that, and I just went the cheap route. I think this is around $10. The ones with the door chimes are anywhere from $50 to $100 or so. So if that's important to you, do your research, get the right one. I just am going for max cheap, and this is what I ended on. So here are the two to the stereo. Here's the OEM one. You can see everything has a color. It is important to check the manual for both the radio and whatever harness adapter you got, because while, you know, color coding is semi-universal, there will be ones that might be off, so double check. For instance, the illumination one on here is, I believe, orange on this harness, so double check. I'll usually start by stripping and putting butt connectors on just one side first. Just do every single wire. And now you might not use all the wires, but that's okay. And you can tell these ones, they tried to strip them, but you can't get them off by hand. Now that you're done with that, you have a nice bouquet of butts. And now you can start wiring in the other side. Again, reference your instructions for your particular ones, as you don't want to get those backwards and have to redo this. Alright, I think this is basically it. Now, looks like a lot are not connected, and that is true. Since this was a work van, I believe it has no rear speakers. And then there's a couple wires that I know I either don't need, or I'm not exactly sure if I need them yet, but I plan to plug it in first and then test the unit before anything else. So I'll touch up a couple. Didn't crimp one good enough, so I'll touch up a couple off camera and then give it a test. Okay, about to do a functionality check. you can actually pop the light control panel out of the dash pretty easily so that you can check your dimming and whatnot controls. Just got it plugged into the unit. Turn the key on. Alright, so it looks like we might have to double check the wiring. The factory harness does not actually provide a plus 12 accessory power. And I had an extra wire included. If I just read the instructions, it would have told me this. So I need to find a switched plus 12, and with the multimeter I found one right here. And be careful with this, you don't want to disconnect any vacuum lines, but this green wire showed to be a plus 12, so it could be different on your car. Check with the multimeter before doing anything. That was a painful connector. You should probably disconnect your battery first. So, okay. I'll give test tug to make sure it's good. If you do this from here, I would make sure that's pressed in, plug this back in, and don't forget your little, I don't even know what these are, little holder inners. Okay. Take the wire, put it down here. So we'll take the harness we did, and this particular red wire, we need to take this new switched line and put it here. So I'll just cut that off. I'll make this one just a bit longer. Now let's try this again. Okay, key on. Oh, there we go. Oh, that. Okay, I made a mistake. Don't use this green wire because it is only on when the car is switched on and the air conditioning is on. The second you turn the blower off, it cuts power. I did find another wire though, back here, and it is this, oh I can't even see what color that is, gray or tan wire. So it's not the red one, but it's the one right next to it, and that is switched, and no matter whether it's on or off, the blower that is, it'll have switched to 12. So I'm going to reroute that real fast, then continue back. Okay. got it all put back together, this wire in the proper spot, and I've connected to Bluetooth as that was my main goal for this. That seems to work. Let's get the bezel installed and put back together. Okay, I opened up this install kit. Wouldn't you know it, doesn't work. So it did come with these little side plates. I'm thinking I might be able to get those to work. Hopefully. I've already set one side plate on, kind of measured it, hoping it would go where it needs to. And of course we'll only get one bolt per side. I think we got this figured out. Should fit right about there. Now, it might not be the sturdiest, but hopefully that'll turn out fine. Now that it's tested, it's a good idea to cover up your exposed wires, just in case. Now that everything is tied up, any exposed wires that are unused or tied off, let's go ahead and install it. Don't forget your radio. I think there's an adapter for that, so we'll leave that one kind of loose for a moment. Push everything as far back in there as possible. Leave that one exposed too. Not the most solid, but that should be okay for now. Now what I don't know is if this trim goes on before or after. Put it on before, and if we need to take it off, we can. We're ready to put the dash back in place. Don't forget to put your steering wheel back down and your shifter all the way to as low as it goes, and start feeding the dash mostly into place. Keep an eye out for this piece. Mine's already broken, so it'll make my install nice and easy. From the other side. Right, now that everything is plugged in, go ahead and line up the dash with all of the clips and go ahead and start clipping in. Don't forget the two final nuts that go in here and here. And lastly, install your final trim pieces. This one goes under the under the wheel. And then two 10mm bolts underneath. That's cross-threaded, but that's fine. This is the one for the other side, same idea. Line up all the clips, 10mm bolts. I'm actually not going to install that because I have a heater core to do. And finally, this is how you know it's done. Thanks for watching.